Welcome to Latin Per Diem, daily Latin lessons in 3 minutes or less, drawn from 2,300 years of the. In our last episode, we looked at the opening of Cicero's first public speech, the Roscio Amerino. I'm not going to reread the entire sentence at this point, but you can consult the previous video. Instead, I'd like to focus closely on one construction that Cicero features in his opening sentence. The first word here is the verb credo. It's the main verb of the sentence. And then, of course, we have the pronoun ego. I believe. Now, this invites the question, what is it that Cicero believes? He believes that a clause or proposition is true, namely, vos mirari. This construction, in which a thought or idea is reported on indirectly, is called typically in the Latin books indirect discourse. Now, the older Latin textbooks typically used Latin terminology to describe Latin constructions, and I'm very fond of this practice. They would use what is called oratio obliqua to describe this construction. Now, your standard oratio obliqua construction has 3 elements. First of all, it requires a special kind of verb, one of saying or perception. In this instance, it's the verb credo, which is one of perception, you might say, or of supposition. Secondly, it requires an accusative subject. Now, the subject of a finite verb like credo, that is, one that has person and number, must always be nominative. But the subject of an infinitive, mirari, can only be accusative, namely vos. The third element in this construction, in addition to a verb of saying, perceiving, or supposing, and an accusative subject, is an infinitive. And in this example, of course, it's mirari. In addition to credo, 4 other verbs that commonly introduce oratio obliqua are dico, sentio, puto, and opinor. And these mean, respectively, I say, I feel, I suppose, and I think, or it is my opinion that. If we want to say the Latin language is easy, we would express it like this. Lingua Latina est facilis. But if it is reported on indirectly, we would say something like this. I say that the Latin language is easy. In this instance, the subject of the subordinate clause has to become accusative. Then we use the infinitive. And finally, the predicate of the subject, what was previously facilis, must also become accusative, namely facilem. Dico linguam latinam esse facilem. Please join us next time.